Hi-yo! What's up?
We're back.
We are back. Fantasy Chairmen Podcast. I am Ben.
And I'm Alex.
And we've got a fun episode in store for you today.
It's a fun one.
Oh, it is a fun one. I wrote it down, Alex. I wrote it down.
It must be a fun one.
Definitely a fun one.
It will be.
We're going to be doing a little tag team style mock draft today, kind of like the old school WWE tag team matches.
Yeah.
You know, Alex is going to jump in there and make a pick and then slap hands.
Slap hands. You got to slap in.
Slap hands, and then I'll jump in and throw down a pick and slap hands.
And then I'm back in.
That's how this is going to work. It's going to be great. Going to be very, going to have to react to what direction the other person wants to go with the draft.
It'll be interesting.
I haven't seen this done before, so it's going to be, I have zero say on what pick Alex is going to make and vice versa. So it's going to be fun. We'll see what kind of team we end up with.
Will we go running back heavy?
Or
Zero RB? Quarterback heavy? I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know because I got the first pick to be able to pick. So
that's right. We'll give the draft specifics right before we jump into that. But first, we would just like to say thank you again to everybody that has been following and listening to the Fantasy Chairman podcast, as well as the Sasquatch Square Off. We really appreciate you guys for checking us out online, www.fantasychairman.com, and on social media, at Chairman Fantasy and at Find FF Leagues, and at Fantasy Squatch if you want to throw him a follow there.
Yeah, he gets lonely sometimes.
Sometimes he does. But again, just thank you all very much. We see our listens are increasing, the streams and the numbers just keep going up. So definitely appreciate everybody that's helping spread the word and checking us out.
Yeah, appreciate it. And it means a lot for us to kind of get us up off the floor and get us high flying. So Thank you.
Still not on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts yet. I don't know what the holdup there is.
What's up with that?
I don't know. COVID delays, apparently. That's
Start banging on Apple's door. Hey!
I know. Like, you guys.
What's going on here?
Come on. We want on there. Let's go. But as soon as we are there, we will let you guys know.
Bald rage. Hey!
Yeah, that's right. Get that glistening head of yours outside your door. Just so they know for sure. We would also like to say thank you to those of you that have jumped in and purchased raffle tickets and donated to the Roundup City Racers.
Heck yeah.
The youth sports team that we are working with for this couple of months until the end of September here. Putting on that raffle of winning either a signed Todd Gurley LA Rams jersey or a Allen Robinson Chicago Bears jersey. So tickets, $5 for one ticket, and then you get discounts upwards of that. So jump in there. 100% of the money goes to the Roundup City Racers. There's also an optional section there where you can choose to donate some money that goes straight directly to the Kyle Burnside Memorial Scholarship that is awarded to a high school athlete here in Pendleton, Oregon. So
thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. And it's gonna be a fun drawing. We're gonna have, and that won't be the only one, right?
Oh no, we plan to do several of these just in our upcoming time here. Probably a few throughout this football season.
Mm-hmm. And we got some cool stuff to raffle off. I'll say that.
Definitely.
Some sweet stuff.
Everybody loves signed merch. That's for sure. I know I do.
I want to get in on it, but we can't get in.
Well, yeah, we're not allowed. We're not allowed. But everybody else that's out there listening, you can get in on it. Visit www.fantasychairman.com. Click on the Pay It Forward tab, and there you can find a link to our Roundup City Racer raffle. All right, Alex. Let's do a little training camp heat check right now.
Whoa.
A little hype horn. Things are getting crazy now that training camp has started up. This is the time of the season where fantasy owners really need to be careful about what they do or do not buy into. Because I'll tell you what, right now, Paris Campbell is the fastest man alive. Jonathan Taylor is an actual freight train, Alex.
Is this all coming from one Twitter user, just like Colts fan?
No, I'm seeing it. You know what? You hear coach speak, and these teammates just rant and rave about each other just throughout this time, because nobody's going to go out there and say, oh, man, yeah, no, he sucks. Like, he's terrible.
He does suck.
So all you hear is just people just getting hyped up like crazy. Like Philip Lindsay, it's impossible for him to drop a pass. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, man.
It's wild.
He's the human glove.
It's, so you hear these things just constantly going around, and it just gets people like just in a frenzy.
Gets them amped,
man,
ready to go. Just our advice to you guys would just be take everything with a grain of salt and don't sway too hard. All right, there's a whole lot of talk out there.
Don't let
because at one point there was a head coach that said we will feed CJ Spiller the ball, quote unquote, until he pukes, unquote. And I don't think he got hardly any carries that year.
I don't think that came to fruition.
I remember Kyle took him like number 7 overall that year, and it was the bane.
See, that's what training.
That's
camp
what coach speak can do to you.
Coach
sometimes.
speak can do, exactly. It'll get you just frothing at the mouth, like, oh my. There was one video of David Montgomery, and I will say it was highly impressive. There was a video of David Montgomery just like bowling a dude over and then like carrying like 4 other dudes on his back before he went down.
I do remember that one too.
And I'll tell you what, that thing took off like wildfire.
It went through.
It's like David Montgomery 101. Just nobody else. Only David Montgomery.
Yeah, well.
101.
101, yeah. Man, look at you now.
Don't do that.
Don't
take David Montgomery first overall, please.
Yes, just do a little research, stick to your guys.
Keep your expectations tempered. You will hear these people. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is just Jerry Rice in disguise. So
I have not heard that one yet. That's awesome.
I don't know. I may be exaggerating some of these things, but that's kind of what it sounds like when you get on fantasy Twitter and you
Cordero Patterson, I did see. He said Mitch Trubisky is a completely different player. He's a whole new player now.
That's right.
He's an amazing quarterback. So
he's
know Cordero has the stamp of approval on Mitch Trubisky.
That was all I was waiting for Mitch Trubisky. Honestly, it was as soon as Cordero Patterson said, like, yeah.
Then I went to
the guy.
I went to my team and I went bye.
Bye. Oh, man. Well, let's hear a little bit of NFL news, Alex.
And now it's time for your NFL news.
Well, not a whole lot of news, but we can kind of touch base on some of the training camp injuries that we've been going on. So
a flurry.
Under the hamstring categories, a few people under the hamstring categories, which is to be, expected. People coming back from doing their by themselves workouts, doing team activities. It's kind of hot right now, so
they just got
be a little dehydrated.
Pads.
Yeah, just got into full pads. So let's see, hamstring injuries. We got one AJ Green, another hamstring injury. Hopefully he can bounce back from that.
That's not a bad one.
DeAndre Hopkins had a hamstring injury. Sounds like he's already back at practice. T. Higgins hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And haven't heard of the severity of any of these, but it doesn't sound like it's too severe as of right now. Any of these so far?
Nothing major. There's been a couple of bad ones as far as skill position players. Jalen Hurd tore his ACL.
He tore his ACL. He's done.
So he's again out.
That sucks.
Pretty much this whole. He was out like all last year too,
mm-hmm.
huh? And that's it. That's just unfortunate. I know we took a late flyer on him there
in one of our leagues, and I already cut bait on him. So
yep.
Let's see. Denzel Mims hamstring injury. Who else?
Right. Yep.
T.Y. Hilton trying to come back from a hamstring injury too.
He hurt his a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's working his way back.
In their first one of their first sessions back, he did that. So
you
don't like to see that from a guy that gets a lot of soft tissue injuries.
No, not at all. So.
Things to keep an eye on for sure.
There's
Miles Sanders apparently
he has a lower
body injury,
quote unquote lower body injury that is week to week right now. So don't know the specifics on it, but he did have an ankle injury last year that he played through. I guess I read up on it when I read the column about the week to week injury that he just acquired today or yesterday, whenever it was. So not really sure what it is, but
I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet from an Eagles beat reporter that said he had just tweeted out about the injury, and then later on said he talked to Miles. Miles said he was feeling pretty good and that it's not going to be anything serious and that he should be back by week 1.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that was just a tweet that I saw. TJ Hawkinson, his ankle injury from last year is still not 100%.
Yeah, I did hear that. And I think I listened to the Field Yates and Matthew Berry today on their podcast, and I think Field explained that it was just how it was taken into context, the quote, and so it sounded like the reporter asked him, "Hey, how's your ankle feeling, compared to last year when you didn't have the injury?" And he's like, "Well, it's not exactly, to that point yet. It's not 100% like it was before the injury." But it sounded like he elaborated on it a little bit more and that he's working his way through it and he feels like he can't get back to that point. So when you just see that his ankle is still not 100%, people panic, when you just when it's taken out of context.
Not something to panic about, but something to just keep an eye on.
Something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on.
It could be one of those things that sways you on a late round decision of, do I want Hawkinson? Do I want Hayden Hurst? Do I want Noah Fant?
That's true.
That could just be one of those things where if you're sitting there staring those tight ends in the face, you've waited to take your first tight end. Just know Hawkinson's possibly still dealing with a little bit of an ankle thing, but nothing serious.
Mm-hmm. But it's just like you said. I mean, it's benefits you to keep up, with all the news that's flowing in and looking into stuff, and that can give you a leg up on your competition. So
exactly.
Just
stay informed, people.
Stay informed.
That's right. Stay on top of it. All right. We are going to just take a little break here, and then we're going to get into our mock draft, and I'll tell you all about how this one is going to play out.
Ooh.
What's up, y'all? Ben from the Fantasy Chairmen podcast and the Sasquatch Square Off here, and I want to tell you all about Anchor. If you've ever thought about getting into the podcasting game, you need to be using Anchor. For one, it's free. That's right, completely free, and you get unlimited storage to hold all your episodes, all your audio clips, all your listener voice messages in one place, making it super easy for you to use. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. It's literally as easy as clicking a button. You can make money from your podcast on Anchor with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Right, and we are back.
We're back.
You ready to just throw
Let's
down
do
on
this.
This mock draft, Alex? This will be interesting.
Some tag team.
Little tag team mock draft.
I like it.
WWE cage style. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Okay, for this mock draft, Alex and I will be drafting together, and like we said at the top of the episode, Alex is going to be drafting one round, and then I will draft the next, and we will just continue that way throughout this entire draft. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things go here. This is a 10 team, so switching it up a little bit. We typically stick to 12. We're doing 10 team, Superflex, and full PPR. So we have 1 QB spot, 2 running back spots, 3 wide receiver spots, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 1 Superflex, and then 5 bench.
I'm kind of excited to do this. I don't think I've ever heard of we've heard the footballers before. Like they've all drafted on one team, but they all converse about the pick. But it'll be kind of interesting to see how we bounce off because we have similar strategies a little bit, but at the same time, there's a little tweak to each one of them, on certain players. So we'll just kind of see how it goes, I guess.
You've got your chairman's choices. I've got mine. And
you're darn tootin'.
We certainly have our players that we go back and forth and differ on. So this will be interesting to see what the team actually ends up looking like.
Like Odell Beckham.
Yeah, exactly. Like
we
Odell
always
Beckham.
go back and forth on that.
Oh man, you always got to get me started on it. It's
like I said, Ben. I think you get your oranges mixed up sometimes between the Browns and the Broncos. The fiery passion. Man, you get a fire when we talk about Browns for some reason.
I just like the orange.
Man, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Odell Beckham. Man, Ben is in on them.
Hey, listen, I'm not about Austin Hooper. Okay, like. I'm tempering expectations.
That's like the only person.
For Austin Hooper. All right.
Kareem Hunt, too. You're all in on him, too.
You're darn right I am.
Which I am as well, by the way.
If there's any piece of the Browns that I'm in on, it's Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, for sure.
That's truth.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you make good points.
You all should be, too. All right, Alex. You ready to get this thing started? You get to set the tone for this draft. Alex gets the first round pick, and we randomized what position we'll be in, and we're gonna be drafting at the number 3 spot. So snake draft style, like always, and we'll see what happens here. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, let's do it to it, man.
Ready to roll? Here we go.
Roll.
Starting the draft. All right.
No, my number 1 went off the board.
Oh, did he? At the 101, Christian McCaffrey gone. At the 102, Patrick Mahomes. And remember, this is Superflex.
This is a Superflex.
Okay, so this could be people draft like a 2 QB, like if you have 2 starting QB spots.
That is. Now, so
Alex, you are on the board here at the 103.
Well, I mean, it's either 2 people for me. It's either Saquon or it's Lamar for me. I mean, honestly, and those are the top 2 people that are advised here at the pick. So I'm going Lamar. We're going to take quarterback early in this. I want to lock up at least one of ours, and we're going to have an elite talent.
Hey.
When you got a running back, quarterback hybrid in Lamar, I mean, you can't lose.
Exactly. I mean, you get a quarterback and a running back too, basically in one player. When you get the likes of Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
I love Lamar Jackson as a player. He's fantastic. All right. So.
Should we recap who's gone?
Let's do it. Pause the draft here. And at the 104, Saquon Barkley goes off. Alvin Kamara at 105. Michael Thomas at 106. Dalvin Cook, 107. Ezekiel Elliott, 108. Wow.
That's a long drop.
That is a fall for Zeke.
Man.
Yeah,
I'd love to get Zeke in the 108.
At the 8th spot. Yeah, I was a little surprised there. I didn't even notice as I was reading through the names. Oh man. Anyway, Deshaun Watson 109, Devontae Adams at the 10 spot. And then in the second round, Russell Wilson kicks off the second round 201, Josh Jacobs off the board, then Nick Chubb at the 203, DeAndre Hopkins at 204, Derrick Henry at 205. That's pretty late for Derrick Henry there. This is a full PPR though too, so you kind of want those pass catchers over those just stud rushers.
Yes. You want the hybrid.
Whoa.
Oh, did you go?
Apparently I made my choice.
Back it up.
Goodness gracious. All right. Sorry, we're having some issues here. Technical issues with the draft board. Anyway. So, where were we at there, Alex? Julio Jones went off at 206. Then Dak Prescott at 207. And I am now on the clock.
At 208.
To 208. So, Alex went.
I went quarterback first, Lamar Jackson. So, what do you think here?
Yeah, let me see who we've got available. Still got running backs. I typically, in drafts, like to go early with running backs. Especially this year, it seems like, man, that's just the way everybody has been drafting this year, is taking running backs super early and then taking lots of them too.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Tyreek Hill fell to 208 here too is kind of nice. Like, he is potentially wide receiver 1. I mean, that's the kind
we have talked about him as a potential.
That is the game-breaking talent that he is.
Running backs could start getting thin. Well, we do have a short flip around.
We do, yeah. We got a quick turnaround, and I do like the full PPR for wide, and it is start 3 wide receivers as well. So I am going to go ahead and take Tyreek Hill right here because I think getting a guy that has that wide receiver 1 potential and in a full PPR and you have to start 3 receivers, that's a good start to get there.
I like it.
So we've locked up potentially the number 1 quarterback, and now potentially the number 1 wide receiver as well. And
get it rolling here.
We'll get it rolling. Let's see. Having some issues with the draft board. Let's see.
There we go.
All right, so Kyler Murray goes off 209, Aaron Jones at the 210, Joe Mixon at the 301, Chris Godwin at 302, and Alex is on the clock now at the 303. We'll see where he decides to go after I took Tyreek Hill in the second.
Man, a lot of choices here. Am I crazy for considering tight end right here? We don't have a running back yet. Miles Sanders is still available, by the way, in this mock draft here. Man. Austin Eckler's still available too.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is kind of down. I wonder if that lower body injury news.
You think people just swayed hard?
Suddenly dropped him? No,
Dang.
I don't think it dropped. I think it's just the way this ADP for Superflex is set up here in Sleeper.
I mean, we could potentially have the quarterback one, wide receiver one, and then if I took Kelsey here, we could have the tight end one too. Ooh. Well, it's
highly tempting. You get that.
Oh.
I don't know what it's doing here. Let's see. There we go. All right.
I think we got to go running back here. I want to have at least one studly running back here. I know Kelsey's staring me in the face right there, and Kittle as well, which honestly, I am fine with either Kelsey or Kittle this year. If you can get either one at a decent price, I actually see Kittle vying for the number 1 spot, especially with all the other receiving options in San Francisco going down. It's going to be the Kittle show for sure this year, pretty much.
Hey, you told us all about it on First or Last.
That I did. So I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here at the.
Ooh, okay. Miles Sanders
at the 303. There it is.
All right. That's interesting. That's a lot farther than you're typically seeing Miles Sanders go.
You see him going depending on the league and the setup, you see him typically going towards the back end of the first round or early part of the second.
Yeah. This is a 10-team league too. So normally we're drafting in 12-team leagues or even 14-team mocks. So obviously it's going to look like they're going a lot earlier in those. But yeah, in a 10-team, you're getting Miles Sanders down there at the 303. I am more than happy with that.
Heck yeah.
We have now 9 quarterbacks off the board, and we are in the 4th round. So after we took Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler went, then Travis Kelce at the 305, Josh Allen at the 306, Kenny Golladay 307, George Kittle went off the board in the 3rd round as well at the 308, and then Mike Evans and Aaron Rodgers rounded out the 3rd round. At the 401, Leonard Fournette, then Melvin Gordon at the 402, Cooper Kupp at 403, and then Amari Cooper at the 404, Adam Thielen 405, Drew Brees at the 406, and Chris Carson at the 407. And I am on the clock in the 4th round again here. So Alex took Lamar Jackson, and then I took Tyreek Hill, and then Alex took Miles Sanders, shore up a stud running back. Like I was saying earlier, Alex, I like to go pretty running back heavy. It was tough to pass up on Tyreek Hill there. And I got my boy sitting there looking me in the face, Alex. I got my boy, OBJ.
I will not say anything. This is
right
all
there.
This is all on you.
But I think there's potential he could drop back down here in the 5th round, but I do see your boy that you could get there in the 5th as well. I think I'm going to go with a running back here and just shore up our 2 starting running back spots with 2 good pass-catching backs. I think this guy is going to get a bunch of work this season. We saw what he could do with the Cardinals at the end of last year, and I'm going to take Kenyon Drake right here at the 408 spot.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
So team now, Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Miles Sanders, and Kenyon Drake.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I think we're off to a pretty good start here. Let's see. And our draft board keeps screwing up on me here, Alex. I don't know what it's doing. Giving me fits. But it's okay.
Fits, man.
It's all right. We'll keep it moving. So at the 409, Cortland Sutton goes off, followed by Carson Wentz at the 410. And there goes my boy, Odell Beckham, at the 501. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Wow. I didn't.
You know what? That was an oversight on my part.
Yeah, I would have gone Clyde Edwards-Helaire instead of Kenyon Drake.
That was an oversight on my part. This just goes to show. Make sure you're always searching through the ADP list and the draft boards.
Not every ADP is going to reflect. Yeah,
where some of these guys should be going.
Yeah, we should have gone
where
there.
They've gone.
We definitely should have gone there.
And for some reason, I was thinking he was already off.
I thought he went a long time ago,
and he just was
Sleepers,
not in my sight. Man,
Sleepers ADP. Maybe they just got to get it updated here. I don't know. All right, so looking at the 503 here. Ben took Kenyon Drake last time, so we got Lamar, Tyreek, Miles Sanders, and Kenyon Drake. I'm liking that we got 2 running backs for our starting slots, and I know that we got to start at least 3 wide receivers, so I'm thinking wide receiver here, looking at the likes of Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Stephon Diggs is in there too, Robert Woods, DK Metcalf. I like Allen Robinson a lot this year. I think he's going to get a lot of targets thrown his way. And, I mean, I think we saw
160 last year.
I think we saw what it could be at its absolute worst last year. And that turned out to be Allen Robinson being the number 9 wide receiver overall. So if it could be anything better, if Trubisky can improve his game, or Foles comes in, who I think is
Darryl says Trubisky has improved. So
I think Foles can be a more competent quarterback than Trubisky, as Trubisky's trying to get better. So I like Allen Robinson this year.
All right.
Let's take him.
Allen Robinson it is.
It is.
Okay, Allen Robinson at the 503. Devin Singletary goes off the board at the 504. Matt Ryan at the 505. Stephon Diggs, 506. Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Baker Mayfield, and Kerryon Johnson. Then in the 6th round here, we've got Le'Veon Bell, T.Y. Hilton, DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Daniel Jones, A.J. Brown, Todd Gurley. And honestly, I was kind of hoping Robert Woods would make it to this pick here.
That would have been nice.
I didn't think he would necessarily, but I was really kind of just hoping for it. All right. We now have 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a quarterback. I don't know what Alex is thinking for his next pick, so I'm gonna be a little bit more careful, and I'm gonna scour these ADP lists here. We're going based off their 2 quarterback scoring format, just to make it a little bit more realistic for the Superflex drafting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times, if you just go with like the full PPR or whatever, you're going to see the quarterbacks ranked a lot lower than where they would actually be taken in a Superflex draft. So sometimes you gotta kind of play with the settings and the rankings and the ADP lists that you want to use based on what you're trying to do in the draft. We've got the likes of David Johnson, DJ Moore, David Montgomery all sitting here. Tom Brady, who is Alex's dark horse QB1.
Oh, yeah.
Driving Narrative Street.
Driving Narrative Street.
Taking that trip. He's sitting there. We could shore up another QB, but I'm thinking I'm going to wait personally on quarterback here. There's a good receiver sitting right here that I don't really have any shares of, that I wish I did have more of. I think he's going to be a beast this year. They just got brand new quarterback there in Carolina, in Teddy Bridgewater, who I think he is going to do well this season. I think he's actually going to be okay. They've got
I know a lot of people are nervous about him, but I think Matt Rule knows what he was getting when they went out and signed Teddy Bridgewater. So.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen Teddy Bridgewater be successful. He's not necessarily lighting the world on fire, but I mean.
And not to mention Joe Brady worked with Teddy Bridgewater while he was with New Orleans as well. So Joe Brady also knows his limitations. You know, he's seen Bridgewater in practice. So
exactly. And they've got offensive weapons all over the place there. I think DJ Moore is going to be a good pick here. We'll shore up our third starting wide receiver spot, and I'm going to snag him here.
Nice. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Taking him. Yeah, that fills out our wide receivers.
Wide receivers are good. We need tight end, 2 flex, and our Superflex still left to fill as far as our starting lineup goes.
All right, and I'm looking over some stuff here.
Deebo Samuel went off at 6:09, followed by David Montgomery at the 6:10. DJ Chark went off at 7:01, and then David Johnson at 7:02. So now Alex is on the board in the 7th round.
And, I am...
It's just a matter of who are you wanting to start in some of those flex positions there.
Exactly.
You got Zach Ertz sitting on the board at tight end.
Dude, we got Mark Andrews sitting on the board too,
Mark
and
Andrews
he's kind of
is
like
still
my
down there.
number 3 wide or tight end. That I think they saw what they have in Andrews, and I think they're gonna try and capitalize on him as well.
He's Lamar Jackson's favorite guy. We get that stack. Not that I'm giving you input on your pick, Alex, but
we are going Mark Andrews, by the way. We are going to do that stack. Let's do it.
All right.
I like that. I like to have a little stack right there. And if we can get Mark Andrews in the 7th round, I like that.
Do that all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, these, it's been a while since I've done a 10-team mock draft, Alex.
There's a lot of depth into the late rounds, which we're noticing.
There is, and a lot of these teams are looking pretty stacked. Mm-hmm. So typically, we're sitting in 12 teams, 14 teams, sometimes 16. And, your depth in these rounds certainly is a lot more lacking by this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking what is still left available here. So Zach Ertz goes off after we took Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram at 7:05, then Keenan Allen, then Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford went back-to-back at the 7:07 and 7:08. James Conner at 7:09. Darren Waller rounds out the 7th round. Michael Gallup, A.J. Green, Jared Goff, Marlon Mack, Tyler Boyd, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, all off the board here in the 8th round, and I am on the clock at the 8:08. We got our tight end. We're pretty much rounding out our starting lineup right now. Doing pretty well with that. The likes of Jimmy Garoppolo, Phillip Rivers, Sam Darnold are all sitting here on the ADP list. And, we were talking about him early on.
I want to give you input, but I'm not going to say anything.
We were talking about him early on.
Reaction.
Just got to react.
We'll react, yeah.
You got to see what I do, and then you got to
see what you do.
React to it.
Yep.
Listen, we've got the second running back for the Cleveland Browns here, and we were hyping up. You were talking about my orange glasses.
You do got orange glasses.
And I do feel that Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are both going to be dominant forces at the running back position this year. I think Kareem Hunt can very easily finish as a running back too, and he's going to catch a lot of passes.
All right.
So I'm going Kareem Hunt here, get us a little more running back depth, but he will also be a good, viable starting piece in our flex. So Kareem Hunt at the 8:08.
I like it. I think he's going to get a lot of receiving work this year too, so I like it a lot.
That's for sure.
Oh, dang it. My pick went.
Oh, no.
I scrolled down. I saw Juju was still available. I was like, oh, man, if we could get Juju here.
Ooh.
But it was not so.
It was not so. Man, I don't know how to feel about Juju. I mean, down this late, probably a good pick down here, but I know a lot of people are kind of cooling on him. It's kind of left up in the air as to what he is actually going to be. Can he be that guy without Antonio Brown there taking the looks off? I would like to believe in him.
I would too.
I would like to believe in him.
Yeah.
But it does scare me a little bit.
So did you recap what went on the end right there?
Oh, Austin Hooper goes off 8:09, followed by Phillip Rivers at the 8:10, then Juju at 9:01, and Jarvis Landry at 9:02.
All right, and I was going to go Juju, but he went, but I did have a pretty sweet backup plan, and I am going Devontae Parker here at 9:3.
There you go.
I saw a report today that it looks like he's looking good mobility wise. Like his injury isn't really affecting him so much from what they could see, but the head coach there, I'm forgetting his name right now in Miami, was saying Flores was saying just that he's making rookie decisions out there. He's making some good ones, but he's making some bad decisions too in practice, So it would appear that Ryan Fitzpatrick is more or less going to be the starter for week 1. He hasn't said that yet, but I see it that Tua, if he does come in this year, they don't have any reason to rush him in. I don't think they're really going to make a whole lot of noise this year. I think it'll be next year once Tua kind of gets ingrained in the system, learns some stuff. So if Tua comes in, I kind of see him coming in maybe halfway or 3/4 of the way through the season at the earliest. But until then, it's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. And let me tell you what, Fitzpatrick likes bombing it to Devontae Parker.
Hey, I was all over it in first or last.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to our dark horse picks, Devontae Parker. If Fitzmagic does end up being the starter for the whole season, I love Devontae Parker this year.
Give me some Devontae Parker.
I know. I think I just recently did a draft with Matt, and I did a draft with you. I think we got Devontae Parker in both of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's when you can get him down this late, I think Devontae Parker's a great pick for sure. He flashed last year, and I don't think there's, like you talk about with Higbee, it's just one of those things of once they've seen it, how can they possibly go away from it?
Once you opened up Pandora's box, there's no closing it.
There's no closing it.
You can't see what's been...
It's already melted your face off.
You can't unsee what's been saw.
What?
I was going to say unsee what's been sun.
You can't unsee what's been sun. I don't think that's right.
Nope, I don't think so. That's bad English.
All right, Will Fuller goes off after Devontae Parker. And then, so this auto-picked right here, but Darius Geis got taken. Darius Geis is obviously not getting drafted if you're drafting with anybody that knows anything about football.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Geis will not be drafted. He went off the board here just because it's still automatically picking, and he's still listed somewhere in this ADP. Ronald Jones went off at 906, then Jimmy Garoppolo at 907, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, which Jonathan Taylor, man, if he would have made it back around to us, I would have thought about taking him down in this 10th round here, but went off at 909, then Hollywood Brown at 910. Philip Lindsay kicks off the 10th round, Hunter Henry, then CeeDee Lamb, just Jerry Rice in disguise. According to reports.
Yeah, apparently.
Raheem Mostert goes off at 10:04. Evan Ingram, 10:05. Michael Pittman Jr. at the 10:06. And then T. Higgins at 10:07. And we've got some wild stuff going on in here. T. Higgins, I think he has shot up just because of the AJ Green news, just in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I was in that draft with Matt when the news came out about AJ Green like tweaking his hammy, and right as that happened, T. Higgins got selected. We were down in like the 15th round, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then he jumps in like, hey, AJ Green hurt. T. Higgins right here is a steal, and I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But now there's news that he has also tweaked his hammy.
He tweaked his hammy too, so
kind of wondering about that. All right. So our team so far, we've got Lamar Jackson, Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Mark Andrews, Kareem Hunt, and Devontae Parker, and we have our starting lineup essentially lined out.
Except for that Superflex spot. Which people... Let me advise you, in Superflex, it is smart to just put a quarterback in the Superflex spot. I mean, they are the best odds to have high point totals, unless you have, just crazy studs in, if you're fully loaded in running back and you can't put, you filled out all your flex spots and there's only a Superflex spot left, and you've still got, Ezekiel Elliott or something like that to put in your starting lineup. I don't know how you would do it, but in Superflex leagues, you will typically see most every team puts a quarterback in that Superflex spot just because they have the high chance of scoring a high point total in a week, even on a mediocre week.
I think it was earlier this offseason. I can't remember where but you and I were listening to a podcast, I think, and they were talking about the Superflex and how, I can't remember who it was, but it might have, there was a quarterback. It was like quarterback 17 basically was putting up like the same numbers as like Nick Chubb, who was running back 7.
Yep.
So when that's the importance of keeping a quarterback in that super flex spot. When you have a quarterback that's putting up numbers that a running back 1 is putting up, you want those that kind of that sure thing almost.
Yep, exactly.
Sitting in that super flex spot.
And if you're going to be smart about it, draft 3 to potentially 4 quarterbacks if you can, to be able to rotate through and dodge the bye week. So
yep, and you're typically, I mean, unless you make some filthy trades, you're typically not going to have 3 running back 1s to be able to put a third running back 1 in your super flex spot.
Exactly. I mean,
Anyway, definitely just always go for that quarterback. Try to get that depth for that. I am actually going to take a quarterback here to fill out our super flex spot. And I might surprise Alex with this one here, but I am going to go down and I'm going to take Big Ben to go into this super flex.
Oh, okay.
I kind of like what Big Ben, I think what he'll be able to do this season. As long as everybody with the Steelers can stay healthy. It looks like he's throwing okay right now. I saw somebody compare his throw style now after his injury to kind of what Phillip Rivers has always done.
Yeah.
Just in the motion of the throw, not necessarily like throwing ducks like Phillip Rivers was at the end of last season.
Looking like he's horse glue.
Exactly. Not that.
I'm kind of nervous about Ben Roethlisberger this year. I want to see it first before we do it, or before you really dive in on it. So
he's just a proven thing. Another thing that I like to do in Superflex is to get 3 viable quarterbacks, so that you can just kind of rotate through those guys and play the matchups. The way this draft is falling right now is there are still plenty of quarterbacks available. I wanted the proven vet. I know he is coming off the injury, but I think that he's going to be able to come back okay. And when he was healthy, the last time we saw him healthy, he was lighting it up. Mm-hmm. So old Big Ben just throwing bombs. Sony Michel went off 10:09. Rob Gronkowski at the 10:10. Julian Edelman at the 11:01, and Christian Kirk at the 11:02, and Alex is on the clock in the 11th round.
Well, I think we're going to shore up some of our running back depth right now, and I did my due diligence. I scrolled down and looked at some of the ADP, or the depth there, and one of my favorite rookie running backs is still on the board. He was actually my favorite rookie running back going into the draft. I wasn't too stoked when he got drafted by the Lions, but it is what it is at this point. We're going DeAndre Swift right here.
Oh, I like that pick.
Yeah, I like DeAndre Swift a lot.
That's a great pick down there. Oh, man, I'll tell you what.
I hope the Lions get smart, man.
More training camp hype. I've been hearing all about his pass catching.
Oh, yeah. I did hear about that today, too. And I also heard
Kerryon Johnson.
He's got a knee brace on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
get on the Swift train.
We don't know that Kerryon is 100% healthy. It does not look that way right now. I mean, unless that is just completely precautionary. But yeah, no, I do like DeAndre Swift a lot, especially down this far down the board. Sam Darnold goes off at the 11:04, followed by Mike Williams, then Darrell Henderson, Laviska Shenault, Sterling Shepard, Matt Breida, Zach Moss, then T.J. Hawkinson to kick off the 12th round. Brandon Ayuk, Denzel Mims. We're seeing a lot of rookies go off the board here.
Yep.
Alexander Madison goes off, Latavius Murray. And Alexander Madison has fallen quite a bit from what his ADP was at the beginning of the offseason. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of odd. Like, people are taking him to handcuff Dalvin Cook. And there were times where I was seeing Alexander Madison get drafted in the 6th and 7th round earlier in the offseason.
Yeah, that won't be me.
No, absolutely not. And I think people are coming back down to earth a little bit and realizing, like, what are we doing?
No,
Dalvin Cook is the guy.
Was that in the midst of, like, Dalvin Cook holdout kind of stuff?
I I know it jumped up a little bit more during that time, so it might have been, but even then, I think even before he had mentioned there was talks of the holdouts, we were seeing Alexander Madison go real early, real early.
Okay.
But I do like to see that that's cooled down a little bit. John Brown goes off 12:06, followed by Anthony Miller at the 12:07. And now I'm on the clock here. We've got 4 wide receivers, 4 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 1 tight end.
I know what I do here, but I'm going to let you do it.
Oh, yeah? Know exactly what you do, huh? I need to scroll down the ADP
I'm staring him in the face right now.
Now, I just got to ask you just because you love him so much. And,
okay.
And right now it sounds like he is a deity from another earth.
Okay.
Brian Edwards.
Oh. No, I'm not staring at him.
Wow,
but
okay.
No, not him. I like Brian Edwards most definitely in Dynasty, and I know, yes, I mean, I'm a fanboy, Brian Edwards, but no, there's somebody else there in the same category of player that I would take over him.
You're drinking the wide receiver or the Brian Edwards Kool-Aid right now.
I'll tell you what, he's got Derek Carr's got me. I mean, I was already hyped watching Brian Edwards film pre-draft and post-draft, but now Derek Carr is getting me even more hyped when he's thrown out claims of this guy looks like Devontae Adams and the guy would know because he played with Devontae Adams 2 years at Fresno State. So, and I like to hear that.
No, I feel you. All right. Well, I am going to go a similar direction, I think, Alex. And Mr. Speedy gonna get us another big play, dude. What the Raiders tried to do to match Tyreek Hill, I'm gonna take Henry Ruggs.
Oh, okay.
Down here.
Okay.
Let's see if I can make the pick. There we go.
I'm hoping my guy makes it back. Oh, he did. He did indeed, folks. Yes.
Curtis Samuel goes off 12:09. Damian Williams at the 12:10. Damian Williams, man, they need to get some opt-outs and stuff taken care of.
Sleeper needs to update it a little bit. There's some stuff going on.
Sleeper.
We
love you, but come on.
Come on, keep up on it, guys. Keep up on it. My guy made it back around to us, which I was hoping that you'd take at 12:08, but I'm perfectly fine taking him at 13:03.
Absolutely.
Marvin Jones Jr. I love me some Marvin Jones. Guy is a red zone, a huge red zone threat for the Lions, and Matthew Stafford and him both have a pretty darn good connection with each other. Now, Kenny Galladay is there, but I mean, when they're both being able to take coverage away from each other, one of them, more often than not, one of them is going to have a big game. Sometimes both of them have big games. And Marvin Jones is a stellar wide receiver that can get you those big gains and is a big-time red zone threat.
Absolutely. I mean, Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay splits as far as targets and receptions throughout the last year. When Matthew Stafford was in there, they were basically even. I mean, Galladay was getting like the big, like deep plays. His, I think his yards per reception was something like 18 or it was up there. I mean, it was high, or even close to 20. It might have been 19 something, but you know, he was just that big play guy. Whereas Marvin Jones was, like you said, in the red zone, pretty heavily targeted, but he was getting just as many targets as Kenny Galladay was. It was pretty evenly split. So I do like Marvin Jones down there. He's been a late round target for me as well. Noah Fant had gone off at the 13:01. Tevin Coleman. Then we took Marvin Jones, Tariq Cohen, O.J. Howard, Mecole Hardman, James White, Irv Smith Jr., Dede Westbrook, Darius Slayton. In the 14th round, Emmanuel Sanders. Then Brian Edwards, Jordan Howard, A.J. Dillon, Rashad Penny, Antonio Gibson. And Antonio Gibson, he's going to be one that you're going to see go a lot earlier than this.
Skyrocket up in ADP.
You're going to see him go a lot earlier than this. It's sounding like he's doing well in camp. It also sounds like Bryce Love is doing well in camp there. Right now.
How do you think that's going to settle out in the first 4 games? Who's going to be number 1 running back?
Adrian Peterson.
Yep, yeah. That's what I think too. It'll be Adrian Peterson, and it'll be Bryce Love to come in a spell. And then it might be Antonio Gibson to come in and spell as well, but then I think they'll get creative with him and put him in the slot on some stuff.
Little gadget player
Until he can start picking up protections and still getting the playbook down pat.
So Tyler Higbee goes off down here, and this ADP is throwing me way off because the fact that O.J. Howard and Irv Smith got drafted before Tyler Higbee in this.
Hey,
it's just a little
maybe
wild.
Maybe this ADP believes that Higbee's not going to be the Higbeast. So I don't know.
I mean, everything else, all the rest of the tight ends look pretty like okay, like you did good there. But I
don't know.
Unless you get those guys in your draft that are like, hey, O.J. Howard is going to be the truth, man.
Could be
with Tom Brady there.
Could be. You never know.
And then Irv Smith, I guess. Just some belief in Irv Smith. I don't know how to feel about Irv Smith with Kyle Rudolph still around.
We'll see. There. I mean, I've heard some hype out of Vikings camp too about Irv Smith. Like they might start trying to play him more out on the out wide and then into the slot, moving him all around. So we'll see.
Interesting. All right. Well, it's my pick here in the 14th. We've got only 2 picks left to go here, so we're just filling out the rest of our bench. A lot of this is just because of COVID season, but I feel like getting depth at every position is going to be critical this year, just simply because you never know. It could be Sunday morning when one of your tight ends or one of your quarterbacks all of a sudden tests positive.
Yep.
And is out for 2 or 3 weeks. So I think getting depth at every single position, a lot of the times you'll hear fantasy analysts talking about, well, you don't need to worry about drafting a backup quarterback. You don't need to worry about drafting a backup tight end. You can just pick those guys up off waivers, have streamers, and you can still try to play it that way, but I just think everything's going to be a little bit more thin this year because people are going to be trying to play depth. So I'm going to go ahead and draft us a depth guy at the tight end position.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to go with... I'm going to use this screen over here because it seems to be working a little bit better.
Here, I could do that for you. That'll help you out.
Oh, there we go. That helps. I'm going to take Hayden Hurst.
Ooh.
You and I both like Hayden Hurst a lot, I think, Alex. I think
that was one of our...
but that was your chairman choice.
Chairman choice, yeah.
Yep.
And,
mine's still sitting down there, too.
Drop some numbers.
Mike Gesicki. He's still sitting there as well. But I do like Hayden Hurst a lot. I think... he's going to get those targets that Austin Hooper was getting from Matt Ryan in Atlanta, and we could potentially see him be a very, very sneaky top 5 tight end.
Very sneaky. I like it. I like the pick. All right, and I got the final pick here, and this pick I am making now. Typically in a Superflex league, I would like to have 3 quarterbacks at a minimum, but taking into account this is a 10-team league, this is how many bench spots. I mean, if I don't take quarterback at this pick there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks on the waiver wire that you can, and take that into account too. What will be available for you on the waiver wire if you need it? So like quarterback still available: Kirk Cousins, Minshew, Locke, Tannehill, Carr, Bridgewater, Burrow, Haskins, Newton, Fitzpatrick, Foles, Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor, lots of quarterbacks still available. So if it went the way that quarterbacks were a lot thinner, I would go quarterback here. Heck, I may have gone quarterback earlier if I saw a big quarterback run go.
Yep.
So just play to
your lead.
Yeah, stay,
know the room.
Keep the goal in sight and then, be able to adapt and overcome in the draft, and then take everything into account when you make a pick if you have the time. So
for sure,
I'm going to go with a wide or a running back. No, what do I want to do? We've got 1, 2, 3.
He doesn't know what he wants to do.
We've got 4 running backs.
After I took Hayden Hurst, Cam Akers went off at 1409, then N'Keal Harry at 1410, who is an interesting late round flyer that I've been kind of jumping on in a lot of mocks. I don't think we've seen what he's capable of yet, and maybe with Cam Newton there's a new connection that gets made, and he was injured for quite a bit last year. So he could be interesting there in New England as the potential number one guy. Tyrell Williams went off at 1501, then Tony Pollard at 1502, and I think Alex is ready for his pick.
I have my pick ready.
He's got his pick ready.
I decided what I wanted to do.
The pick is in.
So at this last pick here, since there's so much depth everywhere, I kind of want to take a home run pick right here. Maybe something happens, during training camp up to week 1, or maybe even something happens week 1 that this person could automatically be super relevant and be a potential running back one. I'm taking Chase Edmonds of the Arizona Cardinals. I think if something were to happen, which we have Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
If something were to happen, Chase Edmonds would automatically be a running back one in my mind.
That's another good pick there, another good depth pick. Handcuffing your guys is another thing that's not something we would typically say do that, but like grabbing handcuffs for other people's number one backs. And handcuffs that will be immediately relevant. So, yes. Don't just grab some random, Darrington Evans for Derrick Henry, Yeah.
Grab somebody that's going to be immediately that should project as a running back one week in and week out if something were to happen to the number one guy.
Those guys that you've seen thrive before when they've had to fill in.
Those Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, Alexander Masson, I think he'd be right there. He'd be close. Yeah, who else do you got?
If you can get the guys that have standalone value, like Kareem Hunt too. That's why you see Kareem Hunt being drafted up where he is, because he is going to have that standalone value. But then if Nick Chubb got hurt, man.
Yep.
Like Kareem Hunt will be a top 5 back at that point.
Yep. Tony Pollard, Latavius Murray, a couple of others.
Yep.
Can't think of any. Those are some of the big ones.
Those are definitely the big ones. Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, Latavius Murray for sure. But no, after that's a good pick down there at the end, especially with the fact that we have Kenyon Drake. Alshon Jeffrey got taken at the 1504, then Jamal Williams, Adrian Peterson at the 1506, starting running back for the Washington football team.
Ooh.
Dallas Goedert got taken at 1507, then Duke Johnson, then Mike Gesicki, and then Mr. Irrelevant of this mock draft at the 1510 is Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins.
All right, so our team, Alex, what we did with our tag team mock draft, we were slapping hands, jumping in, and honestly,
I think we had one mistake. That was it.
There was the one mistake.
But other than that, I liked it a lot.
We overlooked it.
If we could have had a take back, we would have taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Kenyon Drake.
Yep, exactly.
Let's be clear. Make it known to all of you out there.
That's what I would have done. So that was a little bit difficult to track some of the ADP. I had to scroll a little bit here. We used the...
Heck, I might have even taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire over...
Miles
Sanders. I
know.
Man, I spaced it.
I just somehow we missed that. He was far enough down on this list that just be careful, people. When you go into your drafts, make sure you take the time, and that's something you saw from us here today. That just
and league settings can adjust.
Just where they're being drafted.
Yep.
Because that's what we put in 2 quarterback for the rankings here, just so we could see quarterbacks get drafted a little bit earlier, because a lot of times you won't see that if you're just trying to mock from full PPR, that sort of thing. But it ended up shifting around a lot of the other ADPs. And yeah, that was just an oversight on our part, but I do like our team. Lamar Jackson at quarterback that Alex took in the first, and then we've got Miles Sanders and Kenyon Drake rounding out our starting running backs. Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore in the wide receiver position. That's
filthy.
I like that a lot. That is a great wide receiving core.
Yep.
Like that. And then Alex was able to snag Mark Andrews in the 7th to stack with Lamar Jackson.
Give me that stack.
Man, that's a beautiful stack right there. I love that. Kareem Hunt, Devontae Parker filling out our flex spots, and then Ben Roethlisberger down in our Superflex. And on our bench, DeAndre Swift. That was one where we did take advantage of the ADP.
We did.
Down there. Henry Ruggs, Marvin Jones, Hayden Hurst, and Chase Edmonds for our 5 bench spots down there. So overall, I like our team.
It was interesting. It was kind of touch and go there for a little bit. The draft board was kind of messing with us, but
the draft board was messing with us, and then just the
ADPs were messing with us.
The ADPs being scrambled, and then just the fact that I was kind of having to play off what Alex was doing, he was having to play off what I was doing, and I think at certain times both of us were eyeing other guys at the other guy's pick, but no, I ultimately think this team is pretty good.
Hey, this team, we won the championship in this league. I can already tell you.
It's already ours.
And we won it.
It's already
Trophies
ours.
In the mail.
That's it. That's game. All right. Well, that'll do it. That was a fun one. I liked the idea behind that.
Maybe we'll try and do another one sometime.
Do something like that. Maybe we can get get a couple of our league mates or something in, and we can do like a tag team like face off sort of deal against.
Yeah.
Get the fantasy Sasquatch
tag team cage match
and Kyle in here, and we can do something like that. I think that'd be fun. I'd like to do a little bit more interesting mocks. Just throw some new rules or new twists and turns in on it, just to keep it interesting. We do a lot of these regular old mock drafts, which is also valuable to see, but I think just for fun, it's nice to throw it out. Maybe we'll do like a 16-teamer or something next time.
Ooh, that's what I said. I said once it gets close to big league draft time, our big league, the League of Origin, is 14 teams, so 16. I mean, we could cry all about 14-team what it looks like, but when you look at what a 16-team draft looks like, the depth, it goes real fast.
Yeah, we'll do a 16-team and then make us feel a little bit better about our teams.
It'll build us up. And then when we get into the 14-team draft, we're like, oh, man, look at all the value.
Look at all this value we have here.
I can't believe that guy's still here.
That's like us doing a 10-team mock right now. Like, holy cow, look at, I can get this down in the 8th. Are you kidding me? Wow. All right, Alex, that's going to do it. That was fun. Follow us on Twitter at Chairman Fantasy, at FindFFLeagues, and at Fantasy Squatch. www.fantasychairmen.com.
Well, hopefully Apple Podcasts will get us up on Apple Podcasts soon.
Who knows? We'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.